It's a pretty hot day out. I took a trip up to the hardware store in Williams to pick up some piece parts for the project I'm working on now. It's getting hot, really hot, so I need to make sure the swamp cooler is running in the greenhouse. It's getting way too hot in there. The problem though was that I needed some really cheap parts. A 59-cent part and a 39-cent part. But I had to go drive another hour to do that job. Well, to pick up the pieces anyway. So I took the trash up and now I have parts and I'm going to go get it going. What I needed to do was replace the little ferrule that goes on the end of this plastic tubing. There's an insert to hold the tubing open, but those ferrules, I've reused them last year because I didn't have any choice. There were none available anywhere within an hour's drive. I checked. I was waiting for something to come in. They didn't come in. So I managed to get some and I bought some extras. So now I'm going to go ahead and replace that ferrule and see if I can get this swamp cooler working. This should be a really quick fix. The only problem is you have to remember to bring all the pieces, and I forgot to bring my ferrule and my inset. So back down to the house to grab those parts. Well, I didn't have the compression nut tightened down far enough, so the water pressure blew it off of the swamp cooler. I've just retightened it, and then we're going to turn the water back on, see if we're still leaking. Time to turn on the water. Well, let's go see if it's leaking now. Now, from a distance it looks okay. I'll go take a look up close now. Not dripping here, not dripping there. Now you may wonder, how come it's dripping right there? Just in case you're interested in why it was leaking there on the bottom, that's actually an overflow. It's intended to take a certain amount of water out of the sump so that you don't get too much mineralization buildup in the swamp cooler. I get to go inside, turn on the pump so that it actually works as a cooler. Hey friends, we got cooling going on. It's awesome. Hopefully our plants will be happier now. It's been really hot. I couldn't get the parts until today, so I got them, and now we're producing some coolant here.
Hey everybody! everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and today I am back in the greenhouse. We're fussing around a little bit more, trying to get a few more things organized, a few more things settled. I am going to be removing some of the plants that are past their best of use by date, and I am going to be transplanting a few things into their spots, and generally getting this thing set up for the rest of the summer. There will be other things coming out. I'm not sure what the timing is going to be on some of these things. I'm a little concerned, but there's nothing I can do about it, so let's get started. First thing that is exciting is that we actually have on the Rosy Finch miniature tomatoes, which are back there. They look like this, except they're back there. We have some tomatoes that are actually turning red, and even this one, you can see this one's green, this one's got that yellow color that tells you it's starting to turn. So we are starting to get ripening on our tomatoes that are the miniature dwarf types, and that's very cool. I've been assessing the broccoli here, and I have determined that the broccoli is essentially done. So I'm just going to cut that out. It's not shocking, you know, they would have lasted for months if I had planted them in the fall, but I didn't. I planted them in the spring, and I knew that they would reach an end game moment, and I have decided that moment has been reached. So I'm just going to chop these out of here. There are hints that someday they might make some more broccoli, but I'm not going to wait for them at this point. The quality will not be where we want it to be, and the whole point of growing all this stuff is to have the quality you want. So I'm cutting this right back to the ground here in the hopes that it won't sprout again. It may. I'll see how much of it I can get out of there. I don't want to damage the tomato plants that are in there. There are 2 Shelby's, which I think, if I recall correctly, are paste tomatoes. So I'm trying to get as much of this root out of there as possible to discourage them from coming back. These little plants that are getting yanked out of here accidentally in the process are husk cherries, and I'm not going to worry about them. I'll take out most of those to start with anyway. I don't really want too many, although it is fun to have a few come on. I need to find, there it is. Need to find this guy so that I can pick out as much of the soil as possible. I'm not worried about the tiny little roots. These cabbage type plants are not that capable. There are plants that are capable of coming back from virtually nothing. Cabbage plants are generally not that, and broccoli are in the cabbage family. So okay, so that is over, as they say. That phase of the interplanting is done. I think I'll leave, there's 1 husk cherry there and 1 here, and we'll let that be. I'm going to put this a little bit farther out into the center. It's always interesting when things fall down, scare you. Okay. So that one is done. Let's see, I had already taken some broccoli out of this one. And what I decided the other day is this one, for whatever reason, is getting too much water now. So I'm going to change the emitter on this one. I have my emitter container tucked underneath a bench, because you don't want to leave it exposed to the sun more than you have to. I'm going to reduce this. This is currently 2 gallons per hour. And I'm going to reduce that to 1 gallon per hour. We'll see if that does the trick, as they say. I'm still trying to get these things properly adjusted so that everybody gets the amount of water they need without anybody drowning in the process. So These have had their morning water. They will also get watered in the afternoon. This is doing fine. I'm going to, I actually picked a radish out of here for Henry yesterday. I'm also going to choose to pick out some of the husk cherries that are growing in here. I don't mind having one or two, but I don't want this to be a huge pile. It'll start to detract from this little guy, which is a dwarf tomato. Okay, so that has now been changed. This one is also a little bit too fervent in terms of how much water it's getting. So let's see if I can change that guy out too. I'm going to cut this water in half and see if that's too much of a reduction. $7.8 liters, 2 gallons per hour. Let's see what do we got here. I might need to actually buy some more of the lower level emitters. These are supposed to be a gallon per hour. These are older ones. I don't always like using those. Let's see if I can tell which one this is. These used to all have settings on them so you could tell what they were. And now they don't always. Or they'll have such tiny, tiny numbers you can't read them. Four. See if this is the same markings. Yeah, these are both the same markings, so that's not going to change anything. The only thing I could do to fix this is if I reduce the number of minutes here, which I'm not ready to do at this point. So I've cut that in half. That one's doing fine. That one is 2 gallons per hour. I'm not going to totally twitch about whether we're wasting a little bit of water, but I want to make sure nobody's going thirsty, because that's not cool. This guy could actually use a little bit more than he's getting. Let's see. What else was I going to take out? I was going to take out this guy back here. I've been weeding down, as in we've been eating them, the kohlrabis. And I have 2 in here now that are, once again, big enough to eat. So I'm going to harvest 2 more kohlrabis. There's one. It's a little on the small side, but it's okay. And there we go. So those 2 will make a nice salad for Henry and I. And again, that will release some of the other ones, which will then proceed to grow faster. I'm going to stick these in the shade with my water. I'm making a little pile of, I should have a, there it is. I knew I had a garbage bucket here somewhere. I don't like to pile it up random places. I like to dump them out pretty quickly after I harvest trash. The spinach is doing really well, and I'm actually considering when I want to harvest my first spinach. I'm figuring the next day or so on that. It won't be a large harvest, but hey, better than a stick in the eye, as they say. Now let's see what we have here. We have a little bit of sneaking around the back. Hi, bug. What are you? Oh, okay. You're a pollinator. J. Random Pollinator.